With the rise of all this content thing, we have podcasts to listen. We have lots of music platforms we are listening. We are using our ears. We are hearing all the time. But sometimes we just, because I can talk by myself, we have this situation. I don't have any background in audio industry, so sometimes it's a little bit tough for me to understand which audio device it's the best for me, which one I should pick if I go for the gym or to walking around. So today we gonna have the chance to learn a little bit about this with Paul. Let me see if I can say properly his surname. Palonen, to
Yeah.
talk about this. He's in the basement waiting. I think he's playing his keyboard. And let's bring him to the screen. Hello, Eric. How are you?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Yes. I'm a little bit jealous. Let me clarify this. Let me be honest, because you have an amazing background. Actually, a back the actual background, and you have both backgrounds. That it's the knowledge background and actually the background in the room you have. It's amazing. I when you see those little kids in front of a bakery looking at the cakes like, oh my god, I'm that little kid right now.
Uh, well,
Looking.
I tell you what, this collection of stuff, it defines who I am. I've been an audio nerd for as long as I can remember. I went to college to learn how to create records in music production and audio recording, and did a little bit of journalism as well, and they're all related in some way. Um, but in the process of doing that, I discovered that, wow, I guess I'm an audiophile as well. I love getting the best possible sound quality, so I've chosen with my adult money to surround myself with the things that make me happy, and it's gear, it's the ability to make and also consume music, which we all, the latter of which we all do, um, almost every day. So yeah, this is my happy place. It's my man cave.
Yes, I can see that. So, first of all, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you here. Also, to work with Sennheiser. For a couple of months. I've been collaborating with Sennheiser. It's really an honor for me to work with you because Sennheiser, it's one of the huge brand. It's not even big. It's a huge brand when we talk about audio. You already gave us a little sneak peek about you, but if you can kind of um, give some context what you do on Sennheiser so we can understand a little bit better your role there.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks for having us. Thanks for those kind words. I've been associated with the Sennheiser brand before I started working with the Sennheiser brand, and that's as someone who was in the recording studio a lot. And I had learned that through college, I had learned that the United States office for Sennheiser was close to where I lived, and it was like a match made in heaven. It was a great opportunity for me to talk about sound for a living. Let's boil it down to that. And I've held many different roles within Sennheiser, but almost all of them involve my knowledge and passion for sound. Right now I work with um, the media, and I work with influencers, um, people who are passionate about sound, and I try to help spread the word about the benefits of great sound, show people enjoyable ways to get closer to their favorite music. And I tell you what, there's never been a better time to be involved with sound because it's integral to everything we do. So yeah, a lot of what I do is uh, talk about sound, right? And that's kind of a dream job. So you'll find me in the web forums talking about audiophile headphones with community members. But you'll also find me at trade events and working with agencies and the media on some of our new releases, and just spreading the good word about great sound.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we have here, let's welcome to our viewers. We have my good friend Ryan Swanstrom, one of my co-hosts. Well, it's my co-host with the in the amazing show. We have Joanna. Hello, Joanna. We have Arnaldo in Brazil, another contributor, and Christone, which is also, I believe, it could be kind of a sound nerd as well. And we have Franz as well. Hello. So your headline, it's making his
It,
effect.
it's the truth. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. If you were to ask my wife or my family, "Hey, what does Eric do?" They'd say he's just some sort of sound nerd. I'm okay with that. I like it. Yeah, it's a good kind of nerd.
Okay, Eric, let's kickstart the conversation. And you just gave me some good ideas about how to start this, because I believe that when you started your sound nerd journey, and back getting forward to the days we are living right now, I believe that there were amazing changes in the field, because back in, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago or so, audio thing was more related to music, some radio, and I believe it was mainly this. And right now the thing changed a lot. Can you give us kind of a timeline about how things were changing during these days?
Oh yeah, and I've lived through it. I'm fortunate in that I was born at a time where I could appreciate what life was like before technology made a massive scaling impact. Living in it during the transformation, and now looking back on it and seeing how it has changed things. The primary thing I think of is the access to sound. Uh, Growing up, you had to gather around a record player or through the television, around the radio, in your car. As technology improves, we can put great sound in more places. You can make sound portable. And with the rise of um, computing and processing power comes the ability to send audio all over the world instantaneously and do it in such a high quality way. We're still in this transformation. I think we're at the tip of the iceberg, but what we've seen over the last few decades is something that used to be relegated to the living room or the car is now everywhere, anywhere, whenever you want it. And that's great. It allows us to connect with some of our favorite artists. It allows us to listen to a podcast. Audio is such a big part of everything we consume. You can watch the news without looking at it. You can even enjoy a film to an extent without seeing it. If you take away sound, there's a massive portion of the experience missing, and what we've seen is technology really highlight that. Um, we also, if you ever listen to some of your favorite songs from a long time ago, maybe they were recorded in the 50s and 60s, they sound different. And that's because technology has improved to widen the bandwidth of what we can hear, give us more detail, bring us closer to those performances that are forever captured in time. That's awesome. And I can do all that with my mobile phone because it's basically a small computer. So we've seen processing power, we've seen all of these technologies make audio more accessible. And that's how we ultimately got to where we are today, where there's so many options to or and ways to consume audio.
Absolutely. And I believe this is one of the changes. And for instance, for a brand like Sennheiser, because back in those days, maybe they were thinking probably more in audio engineers, performers. And right now, well, everybody, it's a listener. Almost everybody, it's a content creator. And also there's this thing, because there's people that they want to listen while they're traveling, while they are at the gym, while they are sitting at the beach watching the sunset, and all these thought of things. My question is, how does Sennheiser manage all of these? Because I think it's easier when you focus in a kind of just a little portion of the market, or in a little portion of people, which, for instance, audio engineers, they know a lot about audio. You don't have to explain that much why or how does that audio device does, what the use for that, whatever. But for the getting all these people, it's a different thing, right? Is this confusing? Is this challenging? I believe it is. But how do you
Yeah, it can be overwhelming if you're just getting involved in audio, whether it's creating content or consuming it. And for a lot of us, it's both. It can be overwhelming, but the good thing about audio is that it is rather predictable. Um, it's all about the transducer, and that's what the Sennheiser brand has mastered. The transducer is something that takes electrical energy and converts it to acoustical energy, or backwards. And that's where you have headphones and microphones. Headphones and microphones have very similar principles. Um, Air is moving, and sound waves are happening all around us all the time. Microphones allow us to capture it. Headphones and speakers allow us to reproduce it, and they work very similarly, just forwards and backwards. Sennheiser has said, "Hey, let's do the best transducer that we can do for whatever application it is. If it's recording drums, if it's listening to your record collection, what's the best that we can do?" And there's so many ways to consume audio, so many, and we've talked about some of them: movies and streaming podcasts, and going to the gym, listening to music, passing time at an airport. How can we give that user the truest experience possible? That's it. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. But with technology comes new ways to take your music with you, additional features to enhance the experience, or also to suppress the noise around you, like with noise canceling headphones. So there are additional features, but I would encourage anyone who's looking to make a serious purchase, who's looking to better their experience with audio, just think about the basics. How close do you want to get to your favorite music? Because that's what the brand is all about. Sennheiser's always been about the best sound quality. And if you start with that, everything else becomes a lot clearer.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and let's talk a little bit more about, for instance, consumers like myself. Well, I've learned a little bit lately, so now I know a little bit more. But we hear these uh, jargons, for instance, true wireless, and we think, okay, there's a fake wireless. Also, and I think
Uh,
let's talk at the beginning about these three. One, it's true wireless. What the hell is this true wireless? The other one, I think I know, but I need to ask.
yeah. Well,
Another one is active noise canceling, and we have passive and active. So I think it's good to understand which one of them is what. And also we have on the other end transparency, and this sometimes I believe that may cause a little bit a scaring or frightening feeling. What the hell is this? So if you can clarify which what is true wireless, what is active noise canceling and passive, and transparency.
yeah. And great way to build a little bit of foundation here is that there's no wrong way to listen to music, but there's a lot of options, and that's okay. You'll find that from Sennheiser and many brands, we tend to create products for certain applications, and if you stop right there, everything else should make more sense. But when we think of headphones, it's easy to think of, something like this goes on your head, headphones. That makes total sense. These have been around. Traditional, over the head style headphones have been around for decades and decades. But at some point, someone said, "Hey, I need something smaller. I want to take it with me." And so earbuds were invented, and people were listening to their cassette tapes and their CDs, and then their iPods, and then their phones. And that's where we're at today. So the form factor has changed, but the idea is the same. Hey, give me great quality sound regardless of where I am and what I'm doing. And so now, through the evolution of something like this, we now have miniaturization of components where you can get a lot closer to your music in a very compact size. So the idea is the same. Hey, let's enjoy music as much as possible, but let's make it more convenient, right? Let's get rid of the wires, because something like this, although it sounds amazing with my vinyl collection, I wouldn't want to wear this to the gym, right? It's not practical. Although I've seen people do it. Uh, to each their own. But there's a way to get better sound than, a crappy pair of stock earbuds that are, given to you free with the phone, for example. So what we've done is, through technology that exists, Bluetooth, for example, we have brought the better sound to a new format, and that's, true wireless. And when we say true wireless, we say, when I put these in my ear, there is no wire at all. There are wireless headphones where there's a cable maybe going behind the head,
Mm-hmm.
or um, wireless in terms of an over the head headphone. Sure, that's wireless. But true wireless means all of my sound happens in stereo in real time. I can do phone calls, I can watch movies, all of that without any wire connecting the two, right? So inside each earpiece are microphones and little tiny speakers that bring you that high quality audio without worrying about tangles. It's great. Um, if this had existed 15, 20 years ago in the way that it does today, oh, the world would be so different, because this is so convenient and unencumbered, allows you to travel very lightweight. You can put this in your bag or your pocket and listen to music or participate in a conference call. So there's no right or wrong way to do it, but there are options, right? And true wireless is super popular right now because you can get great sound quality without the mess of cables.
Absolutely. And we have this question from Ryan. Do earbuds have lower sound quality than headphones?
Great question. The short answer is actually no, and I'll tell you why. So inside something like this is Momentum True Wireless 3. This is our best-selling product right now. This is a set of true wireless earbuds. Is a little tiny speaker that we manufacture, and once sound is converted from a digital medium, let's say you're streaming music and you're streaming from your phone, all that information gets piped over to here where it's converted into acoustical energy. The sound is only as good as the speaker that can reproduce it. And we've said, hey, let's put the best possible ear speaker inside here. Now, if you listen to something, let's say you watch a YouTube video and the audio is barely audible, the speech is a little slurry. Well, that's not the headphone's fault. That's actually the source. So the better quality the ear speaker, the more revealing it is about the source. And that's what audiophiles love, is having the highest quality components throughout the entire chain, from their audio source to, if they're using wired headphones, to the cables and the amplifiers connected to them. It's not much different for a true wireless. So these have the capability to sound as good as whatever is feeding them, and that is carried upstream to your ears. Think of them as like a pair of microscopes for your audio. If you feed them a really high quality source, you're going to get a high quality sound experience. So the short answer is no. You can use earbuds and get terrific sound quality. There's other factors that should be considered though, like the tier of streaming service that you use or the quality of the audio source that feeds it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you have the true wireless Momentum 3 in your hand, and I have
Yeah.
one of I have. Well, they are not with me because, of course, I have them ready to take when I go outside. So, and one of the main features that I love about these earbuds is the adaptive noise canceling, which I believe it makes a whole difference because usually we have active noise canceling on or off. Sometimes we can pick transparency too. So if you can explain what how the active noise cancellation it's made and why this adaptive noise canceling it's so important or nice, whatever.
I was hoping for this question secretly because I love drawing this out. We hear this term a lot: noise canceling earbuds, noise canceling headphones. What does it mean, right? I'm going to illustrate in a simple sense what noise canceling does. So you probably remember from science class or even math class that sound is waves, sound waves,
Hmm.
and what we register as sound is speech or the traffic noise or music. If you were to measure those sound waves using specific equipment, you can actually see the sound waves, and they're represented visually by a peak and a valley. So let's say this is time, and we're going to simplify things just so we understand the concept. This is time. This is a starting point in time and an ending point in time. This is a sound wave. Over time, um, we can represent when a cycle happens. Number of cycles per second is known as a hertz. And so low frequency sound is slower. Bass is a great example. If you've ever walked down the street and you've heard someone behind you with their stereo really loud and all you hear is the bass. Boo, 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 boo. We've all been there. That sound wave is actually easy to cancel out. So what noise canceling headphones do is they use microphones inside the headphone. They listen to this sound wave and they say, "Hey, let's make an inverted version of it." So what they do is they invert the phase of this sound wave and they create a simultaneous sound. They actually create more noise, believe it or not. But let's say this sound wave has a value of +1 and over here it's a -1. The inverse wave is going to have a -1 and then a +1. And the end result is closer to 0. All right. So, a really basic scientific principle, which is waves and the inversion of them, allows us to cancel out that annoying bass sound. And that droning sound is very common in public transportation, buses, especially airplanes, also office buildings where there's air conditioning units. So we put in adaptive noise canceling into many of our products, Momentum True Wireless 3 being one of them. The Momentum 4 is another one. These two are
I
actually
have
quite
them.
related.
I have
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah. They're very related, except this one is a different wearing style, right? But they do
Yep.
mostly the same thing. So they create more noise actually to cancel it, and it's very effective. It allows you to hear the source much clearer. You can absorb so much more detail, but also it's less fatiguing. If you've ever traveled by airplane, you know it's a punishing experience, from the pace and the lack of space to the constant noise and input around you. When you put on a pair of noise canceling headphones or earbuds, you're turning the volume down on the world around you, especially that low frequency noise, which noise canceling circuits are very effective at reducing. So that noise canceling can be on or off. We use adaptive noise canceling to listen to the environment and say, hey, I need noise canceling, but I don't need so much that it sounds awkward or weird. But also, it's nice to know that when you're boarding a plane and the engine starts, you don't have to touch anything. The headphones adjust all on their own and give you the best possible noise canceling for that scenario.
And that's really nice because, as you mentioned, sometimes we don't want to be kind of moving all the time the needles. Okay, so and also I there's this thing that, for instance, sometimes let's put this scenario: you are walking down the street and you want active noise cancellation because it's a quiet street, nobody else there, no cars. But for instance, you get your bike and you go cycling and you want to get some awareness about the surroundings. So
Yeah.
the thing is, you can the phones can do this automatically, but you can manage this as well. And I believe that this is really useful when we have these kind of devices, right?
Agreed. There's two main scenarios where you would want to be able to tap into your environment. Um, you mentioned a great one. It's situational awareness. If you're using these or a pair of our Sport True Wireless headphones, this is Sport True Wireless. These are a bit more rugged, but they also have the ability to,
Yes.
and our noise canceling headphones have this as well, to turn on a transparency, or sometimes it's called ambient awareness. It allows you to
Hmm.
listen to the world around you. One, situational awareness. It could be safety, or it could be someone's asking you for your drink order while you're on the airplane. But if I'm running down the street and yeah, I'd like to know what's happening behind me or around me, yes, I can activate a mode that lets me hear around me for as long as I want. I can leave it on or I can turn it on and off as the situation needs. So, yeah, it could be for safety, environmental awareness, but also for general communication. Let's say you're in the middle of a great podcast or you're trying to listen to the news and you're streaming it on your phone and someone needs to get your attention real quick. Bloop. Yes. Okay. Cool. All right. Cool. 5 minutes. Bloop. Turn it back on. So it works with our lives, which are very dynamic now. We're always doing something. I don't know if you remember the last time you were bored, probably ages ago, but with smartphones and tablets and computers and always on connected lifestyles that we have, we're never bored. We're always consuming something. So this situational awareness allows us to stay tuned in and focused when we want, but also check on the real world, make sure the house isn't burning down uh, otherwise on demand, which is nice.
Absolutely, and this is something that I really love as well. And the fact that, for instance, the sports wireless, that you can have the focus mode and the aware mode, I think it's pretty interesting. And this can take us to the next topic that I want to discuss with you, which is application. Because sometimes we ask, I want the best headphones, I want the best earphones, I want the best earbuds, but we forget the application because there's no, and by these days even the thing went in even broader or wider, that we have so many different options, we so many different needs. So let's pick these three stars: the Momentum 4, the Momentum True Wireless 3, and the Sports True Wireless. And let's talk. This is good for this is good for this, and give us some highlights so people can get to know them better, because I love
Yeah,
all of them.
great. Thank you so much. Let's start with an assumption that is it's broad and it's very simple. Let's assume that you're buying your first serious pair of headphones because you notice that the pair you have, it just doesn't sound as good. I tried my friends and they sound amazing. I'm ready for that purchase. There are plenty of people who want one pair of headphones to do just about everything and they want it to be very good. Great. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you have a lot of great options. There are also folks who have headphones for different purposes. They say, "Hey, I when I travel, I love these because I take this long flight from New York to London, and I need it for, that 6 hours. Something in my ears, is not for me. I want something around the head. But when I'm at the gym, these are a little too big because, I'm doing something very dynamic and I don't want them to fall off or get sweaty." Well, great. We offer different options for that as well. There are people who have more and more, it's very commonplace now, who have a headphone for every scenario in their lives. And there are plenty of people who just need one headphone that's good enough for most applications, right? So we always say start with what's comfortable, because if something is not comfortable to you, no matter how good it looks or how good it sounds, you're probably not going to want to wear it. So we give you options for around the ear, over the head, and in the ear. And for many folks, that is very tied to the application. The application could be going to the gym. The application could be studying in their dorm room. The application could be um, they are a dynamic work from home person who's consuming music and then switching back and forth between Teams calls or Google Meet, for example. So, based on that, most people know what works for them. They know from you know, being on this planet for just a couple years, by then you've tried headphones in some capacity and you know that, hey, I like one style versus another. It's very closely related to the application. For those who don't care or like both, um, great. There's other ways to determine what the best headphone is for your application. Um, Start with sound quality. Do you want the utmost sound quality? Do you need to be wireless? Do you care? Some people don't care. Some people prefer a wired connection because they're an audiophile and they don't want to go through Bluetooth. They want to use the most direct connection to their source, right? So we ask those questions. I get those questions all the time from my family and friends. Hey, I need a set of headphones. I always start with, what are you going to use them for? What do you like? Then we can get into the differences of sound quality and noise canceling, but start with what you know, what's comfortable, and how are you going to use them. And then from there you can determine, what the best for that scenario is. Travelers love something like this. Very, very comfortable for a long period of time. And the battery life is incredible. It's up to 60 hours on a single charge. 60 hours straight through. So you can charge these up once, travel the world for a month, and not even have to worry about recharging them. They have the noise canceling. They can connect to a variety of devices. You can even use them wired if you want to. It comes with a cable. So if you want to listen to the in-flight
Yes.
entertainment system for your movie, perfect. And that's where you would separate it from something like this, which is wireless only. So you can listen to content on your phone, your computer, anything that has Bluetooth, but in-flight entertainment systems don't have that. So there's a lot of folks that own both, believe it or not, because they want to use this as their everyday driver, and then when they're on a more extensive trip, they'll pick up something like this to bring with them. It's very versatile.
Absolutely. There's one feature about the Momentum 4 that I love. Okay. And I like to say this while I'm talking on Amazon, because first, we have to cover the main things. And when I talk about main things, with headphones, earphones, it's the sound quality. This is kind of innegotiable. Okay, it doesn't matter if it has fancy features, if it sounds terrible. For me, it doesn't make any sense. But there's one thing, and this goes to a practicality point, is the fact that it's touch. You have that right pad, that it's earphone that's touch. And because this, for me, it's one of the struggles. It's really hard to manage when you have headphones and they are controlled with buttons, because sometimes you want to go to put the volume up and you are turning them off, or this kind of things. uh, do you want to
Yeah,
talk about this feature, because this is for me something really, really practical.
yeah. Through the last 15 years, we as people have become very accustomed to gesture control, right? When you want to go back, when you want to go forward, when you want to read more, right? So we've conditioned ourselves to understand gestures on a basic level. There's no reason that that cannot apply to a headphone. In fact, on most of our premium headphones, we offer touch controls because it's convenient. Um, the less buttons you have, the less likely something is to break. The less buttons you have, and buttons are great. There is a time where you need to turn on and off and power and the like, but there the addition of capacitive touch controls is very natural. It's very smooth, and this allows you to have intimate control over pretty much every feature with just using your fingers, right? Most of our premium headphones have a companion app that goes along with this too, so you can control it from the gestures on your smartphone if you'd like. But we talked about Momentum 4 and the right ear cup being touch sensitive. So if I want to raise the volume, instead of reaching around and trying to feel for it, I can just
Yep.
swipe up. If I want to lower the volume, I swipe down. If I want to answer a call, if I want to activate noise canceling, I can use taps. I can use swipes forward and back. These are things that we've become accustomed to and allow us to have a richer experience with less, which is what the goal is, that right? The good design should be minimalistic and never get in the way. So by removing some of those buttons and replacing them with touch gestures, we're doing what the smartphone has already done and allow you to control the most powerful features with your fingertips.
Awesome. And I really like. I can't stress enough because I mess all the time when I'm figuring out, is this the right button? No, I don't know. I'm not sure. So I think this is a pretty easy and intuitive way to manage them. And something that you mentioned, and this came to my mind because yes, we are using often these kind of devices to phone calls as well. So again, we need to go into the microphones. There's this thing that, for instance, we are at the beach, and so we have the active noise. Usually, for instance, here it's mainly at afternoon windy time when we are at the beach. So besides, and this is getting complex, besides a they need to provide a good sound to the listener. They should provide an amazing microphone, because we may get calls and we don't want our headphones to sound creepy. Or how are you managing this?
Great question. All of our Bluetooth products have a microphone built in for having conversations. In many cases, there's more than one microphone, and they're often helping with noise canceling as well, right? So we talked about noise canceling earlier, creating an opposite of the sound signal so that we could cancel out the noise. Those microphones are tied to very advanced digital signal processing. You don't have to know how or why it works, but you do need to know that it's there for you in those situations. We are a headphone and microphone company, so yes, speech intelligibility is very important. The microphones and headphones are mated to some processing power. Even in something as small as Momentum True Wireless 3 or as large as this, there's little tiny computer chips on there that are constantly monitoring the environment, listening and shaping the sound appropriately. Now, in the case of Momentum 4, Momentum True Wireless 3, they have wind protection built in. If you've ever been on the beach, if you've ever walked your dog and taken a phone call, you might have heard the other person say, "Oh, it's a little windy. Can you repeat that again?" Well,
Absolutely, yes.
through digital signal processing, through technology and experience, we are able to help reduce that. Some cases you can eliminate it, but most of the time you're reducing it to where it's much more tolerable, much more pleasant to have a conversation in a brutal environment. We don't always want to take calls while we're trying to enjoy some time on the beach. and you're catching up on that podcast. But when you see your parents call you in the middle of the day, you say, "Oh, I better pick up." And so sometimes you have to take that call. For those instances, we have wind noise reduction built in, and it's attached to those microphones. It's constantly listening and monitoring for what it knows to be wind noise, and then it suppresses it. It's quite nice.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And I need to make you this question because as a content creator, this is kind of a concerning for me. And also, for instance, when I have viewers on my Amazon live shows asking about this, there's this thing, for instance, about Bluetooth. Sometimes we have these lags when we are talking and the sound shows up. And also sometimes the connection goes a little bit creepy. My question is, Eric, do you believe that it's possible to develop the Bluetooth technology till the point that these situations will be kind of overcome, or maybe we need another technology?
Yeah, the great thing about Bluetooth is that it's found in so many devices, and that's the spirit of Bluetooth essentially. I'll give you a little history lesson. Bluetooth is named after a Danish king who he was known for uniting warring tribes and kingdoms. Unification is the spirit of King Harald Bluetooth, whom Bluetooth was named after. And Bluetooth, the idea is to be able to connect and unify multiple devices. Now, the second you start doing that, you open the door for all sorts of variables, distance, battery life, bandwidth, which can affect signal quality and battery life, number of simultaneous devices trying to connect to each other. So there's a lot to overcome. Bluetooth, however, has proven that it can do a better job, and every version seems to get better and better and better. So most of the electronics world is heavily invested in Bluetooth. Are there better options for specific applications? Certainly, but I think most people will find a solution to what they need or to that problem with Bluetooth. So it's not perfect, but as long as we have our expectations in line with what's capable and what technology is letting us do, I think Bluetooth is a terrific technology and still has quite a bit of runway and room to grow and expand and get better. Our expectation,
Absolutely.
though, yeah, our expectations continue to get higher as we grow with technology. When Bluetooth first came out, it was amazing, but there was a lot of there were many compromises, sound quality or reliability of the connection. And I think most of us would agree that over time it's gotten better. And for that, I'd say, great, that's what technology should do. And more features have been introduced to Bluetooth to work with our dynamic digital lifestyle. And I think they've done a really good job being responsive to what people need. They need reliability. Okay, now that we've got reliability, we need more battery life. Okay, now that we've got better battery life, how can we get better sound quality and still manage all of those other things that are really important? So Bluetooth, I think, is still the way to go for most applications, and for the most part is very very helpful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this goes to the next question because it's related with Bluetooth. It's related with the omnipresent devices, cell phones, and with something that for me it's a great advantage from uh, Sennheiser devices, which is the app Smart Control. Because we came from an era where we have these wired devices. You get what you get, you buy that, and that's it. If you
You
like
get what
it,
you get, and
okay,
you don't get upset.
that's it. And now these apps that allow you to control almost everything. For instance, I've been mentioning this with your app, the fact that you can adjust the equalization, because sometimes we have this idea and people they kind of talk about bass all the time. I think that bass it's good, but if it's that kind of bass that puts the sound a little bit I don't know, oh my god, muffled. I don't
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
that. Okay, so it's good to get the right balance between the bass and the treble, for instance, and with these equalization settings that you have, you can do that also. And I like to mention this, for instance, there it's not only you using the headphones or earbuds, so you can have your preferences and someone else in the household could have another ones. Or for instance, the equalization settings that you want to use while you're listening to heavy metal, they could be different than for instance, if you are listening to classical music or a podcast.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk a little bit about how important this app, smart control app, is for the users of your products?
Yeah, it's a great way to dive deeper into the listening experience. Any of our headphones that have a companion app, you actually don't need it. You can do almost everything from the headphones, and out of the box, we design our headphones to sound great. Every ear is different though, and every preference is different. So it's really hard to make one headphone that everyone loves the sound quality of, because our ears and our preferences are different, even when it comes to our taste in music. And one of the things that digital signal processing and technology has allowed us to do is expand upon the house Sennheiser sound. Our house sound is truthful but still engaging to listen to. When you listen to music, it shouldn't be boring. Um, but some people love that bass, or some people prefer to have a crispier, hotter sound in that upper treble region for clarity. So the app allows you to not only control things like noise cancellation on or off, or in some cases, you can even remap the controls, the touch controls, but you can customize that sound experience and even log those changes as a preset. So, for example, if I if I loved a certain podcast, but whenever I listened to it, I needed to make some adjustments because of the way it was recorded, cool. The app will let you do that. And the app will allow you to store that preset so that you can access it whenever you're listening that way. Our house sound is very truthful, very detailed, but we allow you to use that app to expand upon that experience and go a lot deeper and customize it so it's just the way that you like it.
Absolutely, and I really love that app because I can change, I can adapt. For instance, there's these podcast settings that I love as well. So, and with the Momentum 4, the headphones, and also with the Momentum True Wireless 3, a new feature. I think it's a new feature because I don't see that them in the Sports True Wireless, the sound zone. For me, this feature it's crazy because it's so interesting. Want to talk about it?
Yeah, and before we do, I want to mention another benefit to this app. It allows us to introduce updates and, in some cases, features to headphones. So, for example, Momentum True Wireless 3, through the app, we were able to send out an update that enables multi-point. So, with one set of headphones, I can connect to multiple devices and dynamically switch between the two. This was a feature that was not available during launch, but was in the works for a future release. That app allowed us to increase the functionality even though someone had already purchased it, which is great. It allows us to do things like feature optimizations, reliability optimizations, new features for sound quality. So yeah, there's a big benefit to having that app in that um, we can enhance the experience of the product long after you've purchased it. The Sound Zone is a really interesting feature of the app, and it's tied to the geolocation of your phone. So your phone is always telling you where you are, right? When you use uh, Google Maps, for example, or Apple Maps, whether you're trying to find a restaurant or you're making a cross country trip Or if you're shopping online and the website wants to know, hey, where are you? Maybe there's a store nearby. That technology is geolocation. We let the app, if you choose to, let the app tap into that information so that the headphones know if you are at work, the headphones know if you are at home, or a variety of other instances. So let's bring that down to an example. I could set a sound zone through the app that activates noise cancellation and increases the treble response, for example, when I get to the office. It knows I'm at the office because the phone has, through the network, told the app, hey, we are at the office. This is where this guy goes to work every day. And because his office is noisy and there's an air conditioning unit that's rumbling, let's go ahead and turn on noise canceling and increase the treble response so that he can hear his podcast at his desk much clearer. So that's just one instance where you could do that. You could set that for the gym. You can set that for when you're in your basement just enjoying music. You can set that for when you're at the airport, and it will do all of that automatically. So it's a really nice feature that adapts to your very busy lifestyle.
Awesome. And I really love this. And one thing that you mentioned as well is the fact that we can change the controls because, and the thing is, just this. Sometimes, don't tell anyone, please. I just forget the commands that I need to, how many times I need to tap or how should I press whatever to go to the next track. I forget. So I go to the app and then I can see it.
Yeah, well, we're surrounded by input. There's a ton of devices that we use every day. I think a good example is an automobile, your car. When you get a new car, you have to learn where everything is. Oh, this is where the volume is for the radio. This is where the internal light is. This is where the door locks and the windows are. Like anything new, you have to get used to it. That app is basically a roadmap. So if you ever forget,
Absolutely.
you can go right into the app and do all of those controls right there, and they're all labeled and you can see everything nice and clear. Of course, it's tough to see the headphones when they're on your head. So very few people are going to open up their selfie camera or have a mirror and go, okay, just go to the app and do it. It's fine. But it's as powerful as you need it to be. You can use most of the functions by using the touch controls or what buttons there are. But you can also use the app if you want to dive deeper. And there's a preference. Some people prefer they're already in their phone. Why not just do it from the phone? And some people want to put their phone away and just lean back for the 4-hour flight and enjoy their music. And they just want to be able to occasionally raise and lower the volume or activate transparency. Yes, I would prefer a cranberry juice. Bloop, and go back to
There you
that,
go.
and they never have to touch their phone. So the app is there if you need it and if you want it, and if you choose to use it, there's some powerful features there.
And there's something that I want to highlight as well because it's pretty nice. And even though sometimes it's not that valued, it's kind of a little bit underrated. But for me, on Sennheiser, it's another. I think and Sennheiser is German, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you can tell by because they are so aware of the details. Okay, and one of the things that I like is or are the user manuals because they are so intuitive, so easy to read, so easy to understand. You don't need to read kind of a Bible or an big encyclopedia to know what the main thing. I think that Sennheiser understood the basic, which are the main features or the most important features that you need to know. This is what you will get in the user manual. Let me see if I have. Okay, let me get it so you can see. I think it should be somewhere, hopefully. So this is the. Let me put myself a little bit bigger. So this is how they put the things in the user manual. Okay, easy to read, easy to understand. Just this track, track, track. So you don't need to get through 3 million pages to see how to do whatever you want to do. Okay, pretty easy. Look, this, just this. So it's, again, it's, they think about making things easy for us.
Yeah,
And I love it.
I wish we were all at a point where we didn't have to use manuals at all, but the reality is there's so many devices we interact with that to remember it all is almost impossible, and it requires some muscle memory and sometimes a crash course on how to use a product. But let's assume, and this is when we design products, we think of this. Let's assume that you don't have the manual. Could you get up and running without it? In most cases, yeah, you could. And that manual is there. We host them online too. So if you ever lose your manual and you forget, um, or let's say you bought this just for the big European vacation that you were going to take over the summer, and then the next time you use them was a couple months later, and I forgot how to use the transparency. Was it one tap, two taps? I don't have the box anymore. No problem. We have it online, and there's a huge community of Sennheiser uses online, and there's plenty of video tutorials and the like. So that experience we want to be seamless out of the box. But hey, we know reality happens, and sometimes you lose the manual or you forget how to use something. No problem. We got it covered, and we also have a 2-year warranty anywhere in the world on all of our products, even the little sport earbuds that you're going to beat up. We build them to last. We make the features applicable and dependable and practical, so that you can get the most enjoyment out of it. And if it ever stops working for you, let us know. We'll take care of it. We have a very generous 2-year warranty that's designed to give the customer confidence that, hey, not only am I investing in better sound, I'm investing in a product that I can keep with me for as long as possible.
Absolutely. Really good. So Christoph, it's here asking if it's a spatial audio. If they
Oh,
are.
if the earbuds are spatial audio, so spatial audio is there's no one size fits all. There's a couple ways to enjoy spatial audio. Um, your music service may provide it, Apple Music, for example, or Tidal, etc. I think even Amazon has through their streaming service um, through their Prime subscription, you can enable spatial audio, and that gives music and content a bit more depth. Um, that's one way. Some headphones have directionality built into them using the sensors. When you turn your head, a sound that was here in front of you will then be on the right or left, depending on where you turn your head. These headphones do not have um, that functionality built in, but if you use spatial audio through the music service, oh yeah, you'll hear the difference through the headphones. We also offer, we have 2 products that I don't have with me here. We have 2 sound bars that use a pioneering technology called Ambio. And what that does is it simulates the experience of a surround sound home theater with multiple speakers out of just one sound bar. And it does this by scanning your room and listening to the reflections in the room and reproducing the audio, the Dolby content, for example. And you get the sense of something being behind you or even to the very far left or right of you, even at distances. It's very, very realistic and convincing, but you only have to set up one speaker. So we do have, and we offer those through Amazon as well, the Ambio Soundbar Plus and a subwoofer if you would like, and the Soundbar Max, which is our biggest and most premium soundbar. Both of them have Ambio technology for spatial audio. That can be for movies, but also for music enjoyment as well.
I was thinking maybe for football games as well. Our football.
Well, I kid you not. One of the best experiences with spatial audio is both live music, concert recordings, for example, and sports, because that roar of the crowd and that sense of the stadium and the the size of it all is just so amazing through spatial audio. It's something that it's really hard to replicate with even the best headphones. But when you start adding that front and back to the sound signal, oh, it gives you goosebumps, especially when you're watching, a recording of, a classic concert or the big game, whether it's, World Cup or the Super Bowl. All of those things just really come to life and adds to that immersive experience.
Awesome. Well, the time is.
No, I like talking about sound. Let's do it again sometime because I love answering questions too, and we're so appreciative that you were able to make some time for us through your own busy schedule to nerd out about sound.
Well, Eric, it was actually a pleasure. Just let people know how they can find you. I think Sennheiser, it's pretty easy to find. For instance, if you are already on Amazon, you can uh, check the products that they are underneath in the carousel, or I think they should be somewhere over there too.
Yep.
And
Yep.
they are pretty good. Okay. Otherwise, I wouldn't be bringing someone from Sennheiser and talking about their products because I don't want to ruin my influencer business.
Yeah, we try to make the same information available on our website as well as say on Amazon. So product specifications, that's where you can learn about if the product is for you in terms of features and some of the technologies, whether it's Bluetooth or active noise canceling, etc. On our website, there's additional content that we can't always fit on Amazon. So if you want to do some deeper research, we have YouTube videos and helpful graphs and animations that help explain some of these technologies. So if you're interested, you can go to Sennheiser-hearing.com. And that's our entire headphone and soundbar assortment. If you go to Sennheiser.com, you'll see the content creator stuff, the pro audio, and you can always link over to the headphone site through that. But they're sort of two different worlds, right? One's for creating, one's for consuming. Sennheiser-hearing.com is where you can go to take a really deep dive on some of these products if you're looking for more information than what's on the Amazon page.
Awesome. Great, great. And you should. You should try Sennheiser products. Maybe you may think they are a little bit more expensive than other brands, but the thing is, it's worth. Okay, it's not. It's
Yeah,
just that, oh, they want to be more
you,
expensive. No, they are
you do
better.
you do
Yes.
get what you pay for, and I believe that those who are serious about sound will relate to our brand. Those who are not serious about sound, I think, can appreciate um, features and the build quality we offer. But we're definitely the brand for someone who wants a better sound experience, because we want to bring you closer to that awesome concert, that sporting event, that podcast. We're so serious about it. Um, and we present it in a lighthearted way here, but we are very serious about sound. And when you invest in us, we're going to give it back to you in terms of that enjoyment.
Absolutely. So let's do this. We will stay in touch. I'm doing this live so people can get this kind of products. We will stay in touch, Eric, and in the future, within 1-2 months or so, if there's a big release or something that it's justifies bringing you back, I will
Oh,
address the
we're always
invitation
working
and
on something. We're always working on something. In the last 18 months have been very busy. We've had over 10 new product releases in total in the past 18 months, and we have more on the horizon. A lot of exciting things. So yeah, stay in tune. We'd love to come back on and talk shop with you whenever you can have us. You just let us know.
perfect. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and an honor to have you and all the insights you shared with my beautiful audience. And for those of you in the other side of the screen, thank you so much for stopping by. Don't forget, if you are on Amazon, you can hit that follow button. You can go and you can follow Sennheiser as well. Okay, and we have here Arnaldo from Brazil. Great meeting. Thanks for the golden tips, Eric. So
Thank you, Arnaldo. Thanks for tuning in.
thank you so much. Hopefully I will be back tomorrow with another live show. probably just me because Eric has other things to do. Even though I really loved the time we had here. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of the day. If you're about to get into weekend, enjoy the weekend. See you later. Bye bye.